the Shloisha Simei Agbola. Yeah. So, yes. The sheet is Lila Nishmas, the grandparents of Yehuda and Shloima. What's the name? Your grandfather was a brother. Where Adam was at 65, like the other names. Who are you davening for today? Today's our show. My grandparents, my mother's parents, and all of sisters and brothers got parachute. She had eight. One survived. Wow. That's all the different ways. So you got eight. Okay. Only one divide? Today's in the Shloisha Simei Akbola. The Yidden are starting to get ready for Kabbalah Satoida. Spoke yesterday about Moshe Rabbeinu. Hiskul is asking Mamon Binyan Kabbalah Satoida. Moshe Rabbeinu told Yidden that Yidden are Mamlechas Koinim V'Goy Kodesh. We have to know our power, that we're Mamlechas Koinim V'Goy Kodesh. We shouldn't sell ourselves short. We have to thank the Rabbanu Shalom for such nissen that we saw yesterday. And it's... Oh, so that's the question we want to talk about. Do we take a haircut today? How about a haircut? What did you say? Right, exactly. So today's a Yom Yom, exactly. About taking a haircut. Music. Okay. Let's read. Okay, so the emphasis, it's like a funny thing. It's halacha refefes biyodecha. It's in general about the svida. So first, let's read quickly. The Alter Rebbe brings three opinions about the minhag of how to keep the. I have a sheet. So the Alter Rebbe writes in Siman Tov Tzaddik Gimel Sif Aleph, Noigim Shaloi Lisa Isha V'Lo Staper Ben Pesach Latzeres. The minhag is that between Pesach and Atzeres, it starts off the stamp, because Chazal said Beprosa Pesach. But one way of learning Beprosa Pesach means between Pesach and Atzeres. So the minhag is not to get married, not to get a haircut. You're allowed to make a shidduch, because Chazal said, because we're scared, someone else will, the bocher dreht hin and her, and he says, come back in another week, and in the meantime, the girl's parents will say, who needs this guy? They'll find another bocher. Umuta gamkein glasses suda lacha shiduchim alacher akidushin. Avalo yasa. Because making a shidduch, the suda, we spoke about it recently, is an important thing. They shouldn't have the kudim mechoilos. Okay. I was reading this. My kids all my girls went to there to Salt to Sem. So the Manal of the Sem, he writes. So he writes that he was a Talmud in the Yeshiva in 1970 and 770. My great uncle was going out some Koros honestly, but he had this thing. He would never pass an halacha. So you could ask him a shaila. You could ask him a shaila remote thing. A sefer. It doesn't matter. He poshet gewusst kol la toira kula kipshutek. So there's a Rav here that told me, I knew your uncle very well. He says the only problem was as a Lubavitcher, no one knew. But to wissen jetzt sein Ganeden mit aller Lutzische Rosh Yeshivas. So I told the family. Alam gelacht. But he meant as a compliment. So he said they were sitting in the base medrash talking about, like Shulchan never says, like Lapoil today in America, and in Chas v'Shalom to break the minhag. It's very ungenommen that you're not allowed to hear music in the days of Sfida. So, and it's very hard for people. So someone could say, but Chas v'Shalom to do such a thing. Because Lapoil is ungenommen. That's I also think the people are ungenommen by people not to buy a new baggage. Is that the Chuvas Hagoinim, someone found there's a Loshen, Noagu Shaloi, Lasses Beged Chodesh, Ben Pesach Latzeres. You could say, it easily could say that it has to do with making a Shechiono, and today anyway we hardly make a Shechiono on a new Beged. I mean, inside the music thing, inside this, you could easily, the Kali Kalus, you could push away. Elamai, Hayois, Lapol today in America is Anganon Bakal Yisrael, that in the Sfida, you don't hear music, not only live, but also on a tape, on a CD, on the computer, and Anganon that you don't goodbye begodim chadoshim. So something you don't push away the Kali Kalus. To say, but anyway, but this guy said he was asked. I asked my uncle. He couldn't ask him halacha. He would never paskin. If he paskin, I used to talk to him. He used to open up a sefer and he'd tell you to read. But he never. I was like, whatever. He didn't paskin. So, honestly, that was what it was. Yes. So he asked him. He said that Marozov, I have a question. I'm looking at Sivan Tov Tzadik Gimel, which talks all the halachas about the Tzvidas Oimer. How come I don't see you there, the halacha about not listening to music? So he said, what's the shaila? That would be in Hilchas Avelis anyway. There's a whole siman about Meshachor Beis HaMikdash, and it's also to hear music all year round. So how could the Shulchan Aruch say that it's also to hear music in Tzvidas Oimer when it's also to hear all year round? So the Bocher was mischakim. He says, no, but L'poil Tzorech mitzvah. And there's certain things that you are allowed to have Meshachar of Beis HaMikdash. That's what we today Shidduch with the Shkochas L'Tzorech Mitzvah we're relying on, that we listen to music, to Jewish music. So he said, no, yes, fraction Ashaylan Halacha. But Taka, it's Halacha Refefes. But anyway, I'm going to go through now the three shittas that the Alter Rebbe has. Lamed Gimel Yomen. Why is it 33 days? Because the Gemara he had mentioned the loss in the Proisa Atzeres. Proisa Maloshem Prusa, right? Like Harpas Yachatz. You may have a Prusa. You have a Prusa. So it's 33 days. So 33 days. Yeshemrim Shem Aschilam Yem Edishan Shusvidus Ayim Mesayim and Balag Boimer. Shabbos Yom Meisach Ren Shalachov Dal Delaf Tikach Neg Tzas LaHarpas Besimcha B'Yem Zeh. When I'm in by Tachanun, Lafish, by Possible Lamasach Shemesa Mixas Mamium Zemachomak Perlinian Avelis Yamachiman on the Emir Mixas Yam Kikula. So the first opinion says that the 33 days starts from the beginning of Svudas Omer and finishes on Lag Boimer. Lag Boimer is one of the 33 days, but Mixas Yam Kikula, so after Loisa Shachar, it's already finished the Avelis. That's first opinion. Second opinion is Yeshem Shalamat Kimul Yamamelu Masfilim B'Yoim Beis L'Chaydash Yir Masayim B'Erev Shavuos. There you start from the second day of Chodesh Iyar. So B'Meiler, you finish Erev Shavuos. V'af b'Shemuta l'stap of Lisa v'Lag Boimer. Even though the minig is on Lag Boimer to be makel for whatever reason, and we know the reason, like Pnimius, because of its do with Shem Veichai. But for whatever reason, the minig is that it's that we're making Lag Boimer. Kamok keep a shein heter el al achar shav mitzvah yem shukakula lachein oila alamed gimel boimer gamkem lachein cheshben alag yomim. Shanoing mem avelis, because a mixas yom kikula, so as if we did avelis, it's counted for 33 days. That's the second opinion. So again, first opinion counts the first 33 days. The second opinion counts the last 33 days, and they finish. They finish in the end of Yom Tov. Okay. Now there's a third opinion. Yesh noigim listap velisa b'chol shloishes me'agbola. Ela shehem ein mistaper v'noisim b'reish chodesh iyar ela ad reish chodesh iyar b'lvad. ולא בכלל, כדי שנויגן אבלס למד ג' יום שמסחלים ברשחי דשיר, מסעמם מהמרישן של ההגבולה ומקצס עושה יום האחרן שהוא ככולי, ולכן מסתפרים ונויסם משהייר יום מרישן של ההגבולה ואילך. They don't want to have a problem in the Shloshis Yom HaGbola. So they keep 33 days. So they do a trick. They start the 33 days a little earlier. They started from the first day of Iyar. And so today is Sunday, the first of Shloshis Yom HaGbola. There's a Loisa Shachar, and you go a few minutes after Loisa Shachar, so it's Miktas Yom Kikuloi, and after that, the Avelis is bottled. So you can get married, you could you take a haircut, which are the two things that the Shulchan Aruch mentions. By now you're allowed to buy menu begodim, and you could say shachiyonu, and you can listen to music, and you can have machailus merikudim sharishus, v'chulu v'chulu. No, he's starting an aleph, and the aleph they're counting aleph. No, I'm sorry. They're starting. Nissen is a molar chosek. Tavis is choser. Tavis. Huh? Shvat is mole. Others choser. Nissen is mole. Oh, so they have already 1 day of Nissen. And 1 day of Nissen. And 2 days of Rosh Chodesh. You have 1 day of Nissen. Yeah, you have 1 day of Nissen. You have the full Chodesh year. Right. Starting from yeah. Lamed and Aleph. Right. So that gives you 33 days of Mitzvah of the Shloshim Akbala. So that gives you 33 days. So according to this, I mean the Weltfitzach, Lapel Mamish, the Weltfitzach. So the Alter Rebbe says that a person could always be makel and go 1 minute or the other minute. But you can't do both kulas. That's called a Rosha. That goes both kulas. You're allowed to do both chumras, but only not stam. I like to do chumras. I don't know which halacha is which one. So it's not a ksila hoylach b'chodesh. Because I don't want to be machmer. A person is allowed to be machmer. Lepoil, in Chabad, the minig is to be machmer and to keep all the days. In the Hayom Yom, he brings that the Rebbe Rashab, today's Hayom Yom. Thank you very much, Eli, for reading the Hayom Yom. But the Rebbe Rashab was ein daito noiche. He was not happy when he saw people take haircuts and shloshim akbola only on erev Yom. Okay, so there's 2 ways of reading it. One way of reading it is that it's special to do because in the Shari Tshuva and Siman Tov Tzadik, in the Shari Tshuva and the Siman Tov Tzadik, Gimel. The Shari Tshuva writes, brings from Reb Chaim Vital that there's a special inyan not to take a haircut these 49 days. Has nothing to do with Avelis. Has nothing to do. So you could read the Rebbe Rashab. There's no shaykhs to any. It's just a specific din lagabe. It's a very, very. You could read that it's a very specific din. Here, the Mashal, the Lashon, the Tzemach Tzedek. That the Tzemach Tzedek talks of the Sharak Avonis. Let's first read the Sharak Avonis. Sharak Avonis says, Reb Chaim Vital says, Binyan Geluch b'memtas yomim eile lo yoyim moidi megaleach roisha elo be'erev Pesach u'be'erev Chag HaShavuz. Lo yoyim megaleach in the other days, even not Lag B'omer. Why? Ki kvar yadata ki yesh tikkun echad b'gilgalta v'hu nikere amar nekei v'yesh tikkun abei ze nikere tala de bedelcha. Ki b'yomim eile mesoirim gilgalta d'arich ampem amar nekei. Shehem nun hey the reisha de lo yesayades shehem mersades arich ampem.
So it took twice a year a haircut?
No.
That's what it says Shvuot and Pesach.
No. In this season. Between this and here, Sivan, he took Erev Pesach and Erev Shavuos. Tish, Apikabola, Mamish Apikabola. They can read it sort of like the Minchas Elazar reads it, which is that it's a negative, or you can read it sort of as a positive. So Tzedek reads it like this. She'ein megalchem at Erev Shavuos, she'yev shalahaver ha'moisres, ad shemetchilu yisbareru v'yisbar deliz b'fnei atzmai. There is something a special thing that comes with Sidus. There's Sidus the Kedusha, and there's the first Haggadah that Tzemach Tzedek in Lakutei Torah talks about why for a Nazir having long hair is beautiful. It's a mitzvah to have long hair, and for a woman, Sar be'isha erva. So sometimes we say that in Kedusha long hair is a big mile. For a Nazir to have long hair is a big mile. It's a very, very big mile for a Nazir to have long hair. So these days, it's not a time to cut the hair. It's not a time api kabbalah, because the malamaila, that's time to api kabbalah. It's a time where the Eibushter is growing his hair, and therefore a yid shouldn't cut his hair. There's nothing to do. after the Rebbetzin Allah Shalom passed away, there was a long time that the Rebbe didn't take a haircut. So I'm pshat, whatever, the Rebbetzin made sure that Erasmus took a haircut. But in Lubavitch, I remember, so there were those that did everything that Rebbe did. So it's come up this lamotte. You could see from the pictures from the last few years, there was a tkufa with a very, very long tkufa where the Rebbe did not take a haircut. So that also it's cute. I don't think this is whatever big deal, but that was the style of Lubavitch then. I mean,
Hippies.
yeah. So yeah, it was a long time. Was it a long tkufa? So that was the style of Lubavitch. But jokes aside, Al Pi Kabbalah, there is a Indian that Arizal was Megala that there's a time to cut the hair, there's a time to grow the hair. So in the 49 days of Sfiras Oim is a time to grow the hair, not a time to cut the hair. So, but there's nothing to do with all the other minhagim. That doesn't, just because the Rebbe Rashab was not happy that people took a haircut until Erev Shavuos, because that has to do with Pi Kabbalah. There's nothing to do with the Avelis. But still, we find that there's the letter of from the Rebbe where he writes to someone about making a wedding in the Shlosh Megbala. The Welt feels to be makel. But a lot of poskim are makel from Rosh Chodesh Sivan for many, many reasons. They're makel to make chasnas from Rosh Chodesh Sivan. There is a Rosh Chodesh Sivan, and Kol Sheken Shlosh to Megbala. Kol Sheken Shlosh to Megbala. Obviously, if you're going to make it on Rosh Chodesh Sivan, Kol Sheken, you're going to make it on Dalet Sivan.
There's some of the one that don't get and also in this ear.
Yeah, because it's a shaila. That's a little bit different reason.
That's
Not because of dinim. It's a shaila of 1 yud to 2 yud. But
Trying to make it on page up to the shoulders. At page up to the shoulders, they take the wedding.
okay, because they go the other minute. We just went through the 3 minhagim. How you keep 33 days? The first 33, the last 33. Within the last 33, there's 2 minhagim. You start from Rosh Chodesh Iyar, or you start from Beis Iyar. And the difference is if you get off the Shlosh Me'agbola. L'poil, in the early years, the Rebbe didn't allow them to make chasnas in Shlosh Me'agbola. So it seems like the Rebbe thought that the Rebbe Rashab, when he said not to take a haircut till Erev Shavuos, was not just a haircut, it's like everything. It seems. L'poil, in the later years, the Rebbe. There's the story Rabbi Groner told that Bechlal, there's minhagim by Klal Yisrael when to make weddings and when not to make weddings. In the first half of the month, you make weddings. Second half, you don't make weddings. It's a good simon.
Yeah.
Right, like Siddim. First half. And then there is Keshvan, maybe Bechlal not to make chasanas. Okay? So Rabbi Groner said that the Rebbe called him in one day. This is somewhere in the 80s, the late 80s. And told him right next to 770 was the house of the Morad Asa at that time in Crown Heights. Hagoin Reb Zalman Shimon Dvorkin. He asked him, please do me a favor, go over to Rabbi Dvorkin and ask him if he could look into this thing. I mean, obviously it's not so much a halacha thing, but there's a minute to come out with a psak that it doesn't matter the first half of the month, it doesn't matter the second half of the month, even Shlosh Yemei Agbola, that people should make weddings. The Rebbe said, why? The Rebbe said that the boy and girl get engaged, and they're very excited about their engagement. But halachas tznius are a little bit reifefes. So we're keeping a minhag not to make a wedding in the second half of the month. But in the meantime, Rachman Litzlan, the chosn and kala are being over isa deiraisa. So the Rebbe had this shita that once they get engaged, they should get married as quick as possible. In the later years, the Rebbe wanted that the engagement should be, if possible, 6 weeks, 4 weeks, as quick as possible. Versteht sich, it's a little different today. Baruch Hashem, there's still kehillah in the Chassidish Havel that they have, that the parents make the shidduch for the children, and the kids are getting married. They're very young, and that's a different mahalach. The Rebbe was not talking about that. The Rebbe was not talking about that. You know that's machlal a different mahalach. The Gemara says that it's also to marry a girl unless you meet her and you see her and you think she's pretty. So it's machlal. It's a whatever. So Bilapoil, there was some Kehillas Amol where they relied on something that for sure the parents are going to have good taste, and they have what they call a basho, which is it's nothing. It's like a foregone conclusion. Unless the boy or the girl in the is sharp enough to say that I met the boy, and in 45 minutes I could tell you he's not for me, or the other way, the boy says I met the girl, I could tell you in a half hour she's not for me. That happens once in a thousand.
Sometimes you know
The
right
par-
away.
Huh?
Sometimes you know in a few
It
minutes.
doesn't happen. They're getting engaged anyway, and the parents have control on the situation. So because the parents have full control of the situation, so there's no problem with Hilchas Sneas. But the Rebbe was not talking about those people. The Rebbe was talking about the people that the boy and girl go out on a date, and they meet once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times, until they made a achlota and they decided that Chagut Shidduch, and they break the plate, the Mazak Mazel Tov. Now it's a different dynamics. It's not the parents. The boy is Shanishkin Kleinkin. Don't tell me what to do. The Bochid is 25 years old, or 23, or 26, or don't tell me what to do. And the Kala Shanishkin Klein Meidel where the parents will tell her what to do. And Bekal Kalus they can be nichshol in something which is Boshra Isa Der Isa. Touching a woman and nida b'derech is Isa Der Isa. And obviously the woman is a nida. She hadn't gone to the mikveh yet, and the chosen might not even know the chomer Isa. Probably doesn't know the chomer Isa. The Rebbe was very concerned about that. That the Rebbe asked that so from then on they're making chasnas and Lubavitch the first half of the month and the second half of the month. Lately they started making chasnas and Lubavitch even from the Sivan. Someone found a letter from the Rebbe, Pamish in the last few months. The Rebbe writes a mazel tov to someone's getting married on Rosh Sivan. So you see, why would the Rebbe give him a big bracha and say mazel tov? You can argue, you can say whatever. That person's going. But Lepoil, I'm just telling you, in Lubavitch today, because the later years there was a few times that people wrote to the Rebbe that were making a chasna in the summer or something. So the Rebbe said, "Why can't you make it earlier?" Said the halls are all already booked. So the Rebbe said, "What do you mean? This from the Shloshim Ekbala? See if the hall is not booked in Shloshim Ekbala." So we see that because why the Rebbe felt there was a chumra nakula. You're gonna say make a big chumra. You can't marry the second half of the month. The oilam Baruch Hashem, the frum oilam is growing. It's not like it was 70 years ago. When I was a child, in the early 80s, every chasna was a simcha in the Gans Crown Heights. There wasn't a chasna every day. It wasn't a chasna every day. There was a gevena groisa simcha. Everyone knew there was a chasna. Today you can't book a hall. They're having chasnas. They make in front of 70 chuppahs. So they have some certain nights. They have 5 chuppahs, one after the other. They tell you got to come on time. You come late for your chuppah, you're going to get pushed off to the last chuppah. They book a chuppah 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. That's how many. They're making. They're making one chuppah after the other.
Is that on Sundays only, or is that?
No, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, every day.
Like the starter. We don't do it yet.
Okay, but Mitzvah Shem. So you know what? The Rebbe didn't like that they should make a Akbola. But back to our Shaila could be. So those that keep all 49 days, there is 2 svaras. One svara is to say that, as I said, there's 2 minhagim. One minig is to exempt the Shlosh Simei Akbola, and that's what most of the Vel does. So if you want to take a haircut today, it's already after Alois HaShachar. You could take a haircut. You could listen to music. You could buy a new beged. You could buy a new beged. As I mentioned, even in the whole Svidus Haimaz Hashayla, if you really also Kolch came from today, it's mutter. However, for Lubavitch Chassidim, who follow what the Hakpod of the Rebbe Rashab, not to take a haircut until Erev Yom Tov. So today became the Minik Chabad to make weddings and Shlosh Smek Bola and even from Rosh Chodesh Sivan. But there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. It changed. But it was only changed because Lagabe Achasana, it's not the Pshat. There's 2 ways of saying how the Minik changed. One way to say that now we paskin like the other Shitta. More mistaber, the Rebbe was very, very concerned about this thing. The Rebbe a lot of times had practical like machshavas about certain things. He was very concerned that today, because the Chos and Kala are already not little kids, and they're meeting, and they're dating, and no one could tell them what to do. And there could be a big michshul. So let them get married. If you tell them they're getting married, yeshle pas besalo, you're telling the boy and girl that this is something. First of all, if they're getting married in 6 weeks, right away they're already learning the halachas. Also, they're very busy. You have a short engagement. The girl has to find her gown. There's no time for monkey business. So that's the reason that Rebbe changed the minhag, but not that that there's any change. So Lepoil, I would say that for the Lubavitcher Chassidim, not to take a haircut and not to listen to music and not to banai a new beged until Erev Yom Tov Mamish. But for the Vel,
We'll make an exception by possible, but everything else.
definitely
stays the same.
right. But anyone else, if you're not a Lubavitcher Chassid that didn't accept him in Hagim with the Rebbe Rashab, there's 3 shittas, and we only keep 33 days. If you already kept from the last day of Nisan, so you, especially if you started from the first day of Shviras Omer, you kept more than 33 days. So by now, you're for sure good. You're for sure, according to all 3 shittas in the Shloisha Simei Agbala, you're good. So therefore, you're good to go, and you can take a haircut from today.
The most,
And you can hear music.
no, the most sweet is Shemai Kachenacha. I think so. That's the most strong.
Oh, that's even in the 49 days. You could always make a shidduch. Shemei Yakdimenu Achet. You could always make a shidduch. Shemei Yakdimenu Achet. A shidduch you can always make. People think it's a joke. Shemei Yakdimenu Achet. Huh?
You don't have to.
Yeah, it's a very strict thing. Shemei Yakdimenu Achet. Okay, quickly. Someone asked me a shaila this week about the playing Scrabble or the emes. The person really wanted to play the Shabbos puzzle.
Cool.
They wanted to puzzle. So the shaila is they asked if they're allowed to puzzle in Shabbos.
It's not boner.
The question is several shailas really. One is a shaila of ksiva, another one is a shaila of boider. Boider is a little bit of shvacha shaila because it's a shvacha boin over here. But ksiva is a serious shaila. Ksiva is a very serious shaila. So I read writing, ksiva, koisef. Siva, writing. So let me explain. Why would you think it's writing? What am I writing? Writing? I'm puzzling. I'm not writing. Boider, you can understand right away why it's boider. The Alter Rebbe says boider is not only food, bad food from good food or good food from bad food. Boider is also 2 things. If you have spoons and forks that are mixed together and you separate them, that's called boider. So if you have a 500-piece puzzle, and you're picking up a piece, you're being boided. You're being boided. So boided is easy to understand. The shaila is where's the koisev? Where's the koisev over here? So the koisev is simple. The koisev is simple. The Magen Avraham says it's mashman the Gemara Gitin a chumre. They used to have a paroiches, and they used to stick into the paroiches like they wanted to say it's Shabbos Haggadah. They wanted to say it's Shabbos Bamidbar. So the Shamish would come. Shviras Omer. So they didn't have plastic. They didn't have one-time use. They didn't have all this thing. They didn't have it. So they had a paroiches. So, okay, it's day 45. It's day 33 in the Omer. So the Shamish would go and take a Lamed and a Gimel, and he would stick it in, and it had like a pouch. It had like a sleeve or something that holds it, and it said Lag B'Omer. So everyone knew tonight is the 33rd night of Omer. The count was Shviras Omer. So says the Magen Avraham, you should know a chiddush. You think that writing means you take a pen and you write an aleph and a beis. No, if you have a box with letters of the alphabet, and you have aleph and a beis, and you stick it onto a chart, that's called koisev. That's called writing. All the other poskim say, I don't understand. Where did you come up with such a weird thing? So he says it's mashma in the Gemara Gittin. The Gemara Gittin says that if you give a get and you take a curtain and you take gold letters and you write the whole get, who would do such a crazy thing? But obviously the Gemara is talking about all kinds of theoretical cases because, when you talk in the legal sphere, when you talk in the Gemara, you're always talking the most theoretical, the craziest cases. Why? Because you know the halacha, when you go to the border, you know where, and from there you already know the simple cases is Mikol Shekain, the Kal V'chomer. Because the Gemara is always going to discuss the what you think is extreme. So the Gemara says this guy has a box of gold oasis, he's writing his wife a get, a golden a get, and there's a get with a silver lining, with a gold lining, and he puts the oasis. The Gemara says it's not a kosher to get. Rashi says, why is it not a kosher to get? So Rashi says because that shlefish ain't a kosher v'kavua. Ela mutal ala beged. It's not a kosher. So everyone says, hey, so you see the opposite. This is not called a ksav. So the Machzis HaShekel turns it on his head. He says that what the Rashi with his Arichas Haloshen, what he meant to say it is a ksav. Elamai, the din is, if a person gave a woman a get, and he said, the ink belongs to you, but the paper belongs to me. Mashigas. I'm giving you the paper with the condition you could scratch off the ink. If you want, you take a knife and scratch off the ink. But within 30 days, you got to bring me back the piece of paper. That's not a kosher to get. It's not a kosher to get. It has to be the paper is hers. And so the Master Shekel says, why is this apostle a get when he puts the gold oasis on the? Because she got the oasis, but the material he never gave her. Had he given her both, Taka would have been a kosher to get. And he learns it into the words of Rashi. Anyway, the Magen Avraham holds that way, and the Alter Rebbe paskins that way. So the other poskim are makel. Okay, so there's those that say, oh, the Moshe Feinstein said you're allowed to puzzle. It's not true. The Moshe Feinstein never said so. Turn the page. You look in the. It's we're here. Huh?
I thought the question of how.
Right. So they had Aleph Beis, and we learned from that.
Right.
They used to write it, and they used to erase it. They used to rewrite. Takik Siva, we learned from the Krosher.
Putting it together, the holiday, that was right. That's what they're running. So that's also
Then he came from two places, and you're putting it back. But he didn't bring an ayah from that. He didn't bring an ayah from that because they wrote it already to Oiva. It's not mashmat. There was something more from the fact. Right. But they wrote it already. And the Rishas, they wrote it Volkman gekenshen legen zusammen. Skila, they already put it together. Digris Moshe writes in Bedoven Mutal Hamid numbers ksubim benaides miyuchodim kol echad nenayir acher zeitzel zeh kedei sheyeda tzibur be'eze dafem tzrich emata mechshash ksiva v'chein liste mechshash mechike. You know, a lot of shuls when they're big shul and they want the people to know which page they're holding on. So they have in the front a big thing with with the numbers, and then and you put the numbers to know which page it is. So they know it's page 380. So the shamash goes and he moves the numbers, and everyone knows that they're holding now on page 380. So the Moshe says it's mutter. Lanis daite mene machaber ois ela modabal. Ma emizam shul chash ab bechibur bekay gavn beois shel kesef beparoiches shemachadash Magen Avraham she'asur enedim bor. He says anyway. What the Magen Avraham says that they're putting the letters on the curtain is called ksiva is not so clear. So he's mekel. But if Moshe was never mekel agabi a puzzle, I think the Magen would also be mekel agabi this because it's very shvach. This is like playing Scrabble. So most in the mold there was a mold when they played Scrabble on mold maybe because I was asking my wife yesterday because I see in the house the kids love to play Scrabble, but there's a board, so you have. But you're putting it on the board. It's not like the story of the Magen Avraham, where you take the gold ois and he says it's tochuv l'mayla and tochuv l'mata. Like click it in on the top and click it. Nothing is clicked. When you play Scrabble, there's a board, and you just put the letters on it. There's no toichev. So when there's no toichev, how could that be koisev? Just because you took a little piece that has an A and a B and a C and you put it next to each other, A, B, C. That's not called ksiva. Even the Magen Avraham who said that's called ksiva is you did something. You took the letters and you were toichiv. You clicked it and you clicked it. A, you clicked the B, you clicked the C.
It's a
but
meaning.
Scrabble.
It's a meaning. You put A, C, D.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Even the Magen Avraham that's machmer says it's only called koisev because you clicked the oasis in. But in Scrabble, you're not clicking anything. So it was clear that the Moshe would be mekel, and the Magen Avraham would probably be mekel. But who says that the Magen Avraham will be that the Moshe meant that you're allowed to puzzle? I'm puzzled by those that say that the Igris Moshe was mekel agabe the puzzle. Also, they huh?
Are you correct saying the word?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That's not ksiva. Ksiva means that the pashut pshat of ksiva is he put ink on parchment.
Right. No.
Okay. Now you said a chiddush that there was already oasis and you clicked it onto parchment. Okay. But now he didn't click it even. So it's not anything. It's not a malacha. It's mutter.
Wasn't the rough saying that it's not?
Huh? Is not called ksiva. Yes.
Well, the rough saying that you're going to undo it. Same day, put it back in the box when you're done. Let's see what that. Let it go. Yeah, that's it. She's going to keep it in her closet.
I'm going to say that soon. But I don't need to go so far. I'm just saying. What are you talking about? If you're talking that a Moshe, they wanted to say that Moshe said it's mutter to puzzle. If you're talking about playing Scrabble, for sure that Moshe would make. Well, the Magen will probably also be make. If you're talking about puzzling, so I'm not sure because you're clicking it in b'choizik. Now, could be someone's going to argue that there's no ISIS. Over here it's a picture, and a picture is different. When did the Magen machmir? Only when you click in ISIS. When you click together a picture, maybe it's different. I could hear that. But still, there's a question of voided.
Why is it different?
Maybe that chiddush that we learned to Gemara Git was only Gabi Isis, they're clicking. I could hear the argument. But Moshe was only talking about in the shul where they have these, remember those shuls they used to have, your father's shul had such a thing? Where the letters of, that's where the Moshe was makel. If I needed to learn something from the Igros Moshe, I would say that from here we see that Scrabble is mutter. But I would to say from here is mashma that the puzzle is mutter.
By the puzzle, could you say that because the game is made to be done and then undone, you're not?
I'm going to talk about it.
Maybe they'll hang the puzzle on the wall, but a lot of people they do the puzzle, they put it back in the box, and then they do it again.
Right. I want to get to that.
How about
it's a good
not otiyot, is number ramika.
Right.
What's
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing. You're not toichev. I think Ramiku will be the Zabazach. Lakula. You're allowed to. Huh? Yeah, but the din is also other languages is koisek. Any language. It's a good question. Well, the Chazal says because I'll tell you why. Because like someone just mentioned, we learned it from the Kroshim and the Mishkan, and they needed to know which Kaddish goes to which Kaddish, and they would take like a chalk and write on it or whatever they used. They used to write and then they used to erase. But so theoretically, they didn't have to write in Lashon HaKodesh. If they wanted to write in Egyptian, they could have done that too. Probably they used Lashon HaKodesh. But anyway, L'poil Chazal Paskin that it's B'chol Lashon.
There's no numbers on it.
Huh?
There's no numbers.
Yeah, so then maybe they lose Lashon Mitzri. Yeah, maybe they. Okay. So let's talk about the puzzle. First, one more piece. The Be'er Moshe. The Be'er Moshe writes, the Moshe Shterens, the Chroin Levracha write, Din Mine Stoik im Oisis, Tmunas Vitziurim, Kamei Scrabble, a Monopoly. V'yoytza v'zeh. Rubam Shorim v'ktsasum asu. Befrotus, v'yikr v'zeh, shalasader Oisis, Tmunas Vitziurim, Zeitzel zeh, shebenekala azizem shori. V'gam im toichim zeh zeh berifyon, benekala freedom gam kim shori. V'balavochi yesh lemonam. If you're toichevit, it's better to be machmer. Like I said, could be in the old boards that they played Scrabble, that they had these things that were more tchiva. The Scrabble that I see my kids playing today, there's not shayach to be toichev. It's a flat board. But a puzzle, so the emes is like this. There are kids' puzzles, the little kids. You buy in the Judaic store, the cute little puzzles. That's takanat b'chazaka. But and also there, like someone just mentioned, we'll talk about it soon. They put it together and destroy it.
Lego. They put Lego together and then take it apart.
But there is the 500-piece puzzle. It is a little bit toch of choizik. Okay, and we'll talk about this in a second. And one more piece is the Erlitzin. So again, I don't see that the Be'er Moshe was making a puzzle at all. I forget. I think he might be machmir. Taka the Erlitzin. Epzion Abashol Zechron LeBracha writes. Put in the puzzle, Shemuta Lasachik by Shabbos. You're allowed to use a puzzle in Shabbos. Vein by Afmesham Koisa, Kamesh Mavur Benishmas Adam. Shkol Shlo Asa Lakiyum Mutter. That it's not Asa Lakiyum, so it's Mutter. Again, some puzzles are Asa Lakiyum. Mishum Isu Boyded and Lochish, given the Havaka Boyded, Oichel Matekap Soilus, Alta the Shori. It's like taking Oichel Matekap Soilus. Mechilas Koiteros, I'm not sure. Why is it considered taking Oichel Matekap Soilus? Unless you're mamish a whiz sheba whiz, that every time you pick up, you ace it and you pick up the right piece.
Good pieces from the other pieces, so you are taking both. So
Maybe you could play it that way.
You're looking for
You're looking for the
that
good
one.
piece. The violin, you pick up one piece. Oh, the wrong.
doesn't maybe
Put it back down.
doesn't have to be,
Another piece you pick up. No, it's the wrong piece. Put it down. Another piece.
but that's your goal. Your goal is to take the good from the bad. Maybe that
Every person that's bited wants the good. Everyone that does bited. I never
Yeah, but
found the
you're
person
taking-
that
you
wants the
like
bad.
salad,
Which
you don't-
person is being bited to
Yeah,
find the
but if
bad?
you have a salad and you don't want to take the cucumbers out, you're going to take the bad from the good.
You're not allowed to take the bad
That's what
from
I'm
the good.
saying. But by the puzzle, you're only looking for the pieces you do want, not the. You're not taking out the bad pieces. You're only taking out the good pieces. That I think that's the
Okay,
difference.
so I hear what you're saying. I'll go through what people today are saying in different koiftzim to be makel. One svara there, and they bring the svara, and I want to go through every one of these svaras. Every one of them is fine, but they bring from the Sfas Emes. The Sfas Emes says that birded is when you really have the kavana to birded. But what happens? You picked up an apple and said, it just feels mushy. I don't like this one. Put it back down. That's not called birded. When you picked it up, you wanted the apple. When you picked it up, you realized that you don't want this apple. When you picked it up, you didn't pick it up as a piece of psoilus. It's mutter to take out the oichel. You're not allowed to take out the psoilus. You took out the apples of the Sfas Emes to eat. Now you realize it's a mushy apple. You don't want to eat. You took out a peach. There's 25 peaches in a bowl, or a cherry. You took out a cherry to eat. Now you realize that the cherry is not moitzachem beinech. So it's not now. When b'shas you took it out, it was oich. You're not going to say, oh, you're mechuyev to eat it now. No, you can't put it down. You're going to put it down. Oh, you see, you took psoilus. No, when you picked it up, you wanted to eat it, so that's called your avoided oichel. So you could say that the same thing here. When a person, every piece he picks up, he thinks, this is the right piece. Oh, it's not the right piece. I wanted the cherry.
Or we might use it. I put it somewhere else,
We could build. It could say, we could say, the cherry. The person really wanted the cherry, and it's not like Elamai. He realized that it's not so clean, it's not so fresh, it's not so good. With a 500-piece puzzle, that you're picking up some pieces that you're not going to be using now. My kids like the puzzle. It's not the pshat that the 500 or 1,000-piece puzzle. It's like avoided. It's not and then they have a special mat they put on, and then they put on the glue. It's zaganza. So
they have a tray with fruit.
Yeah.
10 different fruit. I close my eyes, so I'm going to pick up one. I pick it up. I don't like it. Put it. It's okay.
That's okay. Even if your eyes are open, it's okay. Because
eyes are open, you see what you're picking up.
The Sfas Emes says even if your eyes are open, versteht sich if it's closed. But lachet kama v'kama. But here in the puzzle to say it's the same like picking up a cherry, you could argue one way or the other. Let's next.
It's a little drabana. The worst case scenario. No, the rice sleeping.
No, but boided it could be that I doubt it holds that boided is equal for food and for forks and spoons. So you're playing around over here. Then there's another svara that they bring, similar to this, that there is Shalos and Truvas that talk about people that are choosing which are nice adasim and arovis on Yom Tov, boided. So they say every adas that you pick up, every arova that you're picking up, you think that this is kosher, it's good, and then you look. But b'shas you picked it up, you thought it's almost the vart of the Sfas Emes. So again, you could say that the same thing applies here, and you could say it doesn't apply here. There is the Shmita Shabbos Kilchotz does bring a chidush from the Marshag that Breda is not if you're planning to mix it up 3 minutes after you. If it's only if you take it planning to keep it separate.
Right.
But you have spoons and forks. You're going to it's not because you're bored. You're going to separate all the spoons to the forks and then mix it back up like kids are playing a game. That's not called boider. Shmir Shabbos Kelchosa says that he asked Reb Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. He said, "It's a big chiddush meichutes." The poil b'shas he separated them. So say in retrospect. So if he mixed it later, and what if he didn't mix it later? Oh, but he thought he's going to. But anyway, if you be maker like this, you could say that the kids that put together a puzzle afterwards, they mix it all up. So, okay, but that's only good for that, 25-piece puzzle that the kids actually, do it right away and mix it back up. And by the way, in the 25-piece puzzle, Taka, you could say that he picked up a piece and put it back down, but in 2 minutes they can use that piece also. In the 500-piece puzzle or the 1,000-piece puzzle,
45,000. It's a puzzle.
we're not doing that yet. but it goes on for a whole week. So what do you mean that you're saying, oh, but I'm soon going to use this piece. I'm not soon going to use the piece. 3 days later, I'm going to use this piece. So that's that. Okay, so I want to wrap it up. There is Scrabble is definitely mutter to play. Margin is mutter to pay. Huh?
Take the letter, write somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Leave somebody at the table. I'm going to
Yeah.
Bedford Ave.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
The letter.
He's an old friend.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's Shabbos. You take somebody you know.
Right.
Yeah. No problem. You're not clicking. You're not.
Right. Yeah. Mutter. Or like he's saying, he's in the middle of davening and he doesn't want to say the no, because they joking. That's what I'm saying. It is. So you're just gonna take a few pieces, like you said. He'll write out the note. Mutter. Puzzle is more complicated. Bottom line is there are Achronim that think it's mutter, but they say there's no border. Again, you could argue about this, and also they say it's not koisev. Again, it could be koisev according to the Magen Avraham. So I think Lamaisi should be machmir, not for the little kids that are playing a puzzle that are 25 pieces and they're gonna, but for a serious puzzle. If your kids are asking you about doing kids, adults can also do puzzling. But Clara Abba Shaul says about all the games. It says if you have sons, try to not let them play too much games. It's little Torah. Your son should learn Torah, so don't let them get involved in games. And when your daughter is an andazach, your daughters are not chayiv to learn Torah. So he was a choshev dayan in Yerushalayim. He was a rebbe of Avad Yosef.
Wow.
So okay, I want to finish off. We always do 3 shilas. I just said yes. Yes. The interesting thing in the when a person is alive and you want to ask rachamim from him, the Zohar said you say the mother's name. When you make a mishabeda, when a person passes away. So we learn it from Ani Avdecha Ben Amosech. But when a person passes away and you want to talk about the schus, then you always use the father's name. Because as we say in this week's Pasha, the Mishpachoisem Lebeis Avoisem.
Not the father.
That's where in the father's name. Talking right now about Ashkenazim. The Sfardim don't say Yizkir altogether, so then Shom has a Shaila. We're talking about Ashkenazim who say Yizkir. In Yizkir, there's an anomaly. The Alter Rebbe writes in a Siddur that you say the name and the mother's name. So which is a pella. Why in Yizkir would it be different? L'choida, we know that when you have a boo-boo, you run to the mommy. So when you make a mishabeirach and someone's sick, there's a boo-boo, you run to the mommy and you say the mother's name. You say Yitzchak ben Sarah. When you call him up to the Torah, then you say Yitzchak ben Avram. So I'm just bringing out to those that do minik Chabad that there's an anomaly. The Rebbe said he doesn't know the reason, but Lepoil, he's noying that way because the Alter Rebbe wrote it that way. That he says his mother's name. Not
when he's davening for somebody else.
No, when he's doing Yizkir. When you do Yizkir and you say Babush and you know that it's Docker, and then you say the mother's name.
You have to say it also that our kids, Sivan. It says pay.
Yeah, that versteht sich, the mother's name. Yeah, Avdecha ben Amasecha. Is you asking for yourself? Okay, maybe shall helfen. So the Rebbe say he doesn't know, but the Alter Rebbe wrote it that way in the Siddur. That's what he does. Maybe shall helfen. There should be a big Yizkir for the Yidden that are in Golus. The Eibusha should remember us, and by the time it comes this Chag HaShavuos, that those that need to say Yizkir should be B'simcha Gedolah because we're not going to have to say Yizkir anymore. Kabbalah Satoira besimcha bepnimius.